I'm Viral Joshi. I'm a research associate at TERI, the Energy and Resources Institute, New Delhi. We work in the field of sustainability, sustainable development, and our team at the Transport is focused at how we can leverage sustainable mobility and decarbonize our transport systems to reach our goals of zero emission and sustainable development. So today, one of the key aspect of transport decarbonization is the railways. So how and why railways are important? What role railway is playing in our journey, India's journey to the transport decarbonization? That is what we'll have a brief talk or presentation about. And then we'll focus a bit on what railways can do for their customers to increase the market share of railways in freight. So these are the topics. Talking a bit about Terry's work on railways, we came up with curated policy briefs on different topics like cement, fly ash, automobile, containers, steel, and parcels. That what is how these commodities are currently moving in the market and how we can shift these commodities to railways, make it more efficient, and reduce our transit times. In the very recent study that we completed a year back, we have focused on the three distinct issues that private customers and players are facing when it comes to the freight transportation. There are terminal operations and management, freight marketing policies, and the rail freight tariff policies. So what type of solutions or changes could be incorporated in our existing railway system, whether be it a policy, be it infrastructure, be it the way railway is developing their business models and connects with private players. So what sort of changes could be leveraged by railways, which would be beneficial to all private players as well as the country? One thing, are there any industry people here who are using railways as their mode of transport? We have assisted railways to develop these rail green points. So if I am moving my goods via railways instead of road, so how much of carbon emissions I am saving? How much carbon emissions I am saving, which would contribute to my organization's or my company's sustainability target that are reflected on a railway system. And in very near future, where India would have their volatile carbon market and we would enter into the carbon trading, this units can be traded further to ensure leverage more. Leverage more power and put a better stake at the sustainable journey. We have developed similar solutions for the metro DMRC, that if you are getting a ticket for your metro travel, it will tell you that what amount of carbon you have saved by using metro instead of any other mode, whether be it a private car, auto, two-wheeler, or buses. Currently, we are working on railways. As just in the previous session, Shobhit sir mentioned about the roll-on, roll-off service, where trucks are carried on the train. So we are working with Amul and DFC and Mother Dairy to see the potential and the feasibility of transporting perishable goods on DFC, because it has the time advantage, and how it can be materialized and scaled up to a greater extent. So when we talk about the transport decarbonization, our transport demand is going to increase by 11 folds by 2070. And if we go according to the business as usual scenario, the share of railways will remain below 20% if no additional efforts are being made by railways to increase the market share. So, according to our recent documents, 3000 MT by 2027, if we are envisaging to achieve this higher loading, we need to improve our yearly loading by the CAGR of 11%. The highest CAGR that railways have achieved till date for 1 decade has been 7%. So there is a need to put in more efforts and come up with better policies, better infrastructure, and better strategies so that we can achieve the shift to the mass transit. While many of you would be thinking that why I'm emphasizing on we need to go ahead and have a higher share of railways in the transport and railways need to do this and that. So look at the emission scenario projected for the 2070. In the business as usual scenario, we would be having freight transport emissions around 1200 million tons of CO2. In the business as usual scenario, the share of railways is less than 20%. But if railways is able to achieve the target of 45% and 50% of market share of Indian railways in the freight segment, then we would be able to decrease these emissions by more than 50%. That is around 55% and 70% if we achieve 50% market share for the freight transportation. So, if we truly want to achieve the transport decarbonization, want to reach the national decarbonization goals, and adhere to our commitments for the sustainable development, we do not have any other ways than getting into more enhanced and efficient systems of railways. So, for the studies that we have been conducting over the years with railways, we got chance to visit many freight terminals and met many stakeholders and private players. And we tried to understand that why it is difficult to shift to railways, why people are choosing the roads. Is it just because the highways connectivity has increased, or there are more reasons to it? So, as you all are industry experts and you are aware that key issue for the private player for choosing and railways can be listed down to 2 or 3 aspects. First is the travel time, because somewhere we still do not rely 100% on railways travel time. We think that it would take a longer time, or we are unsure about how fast or how speedily actually the goods would reach. Another thing is the multiple handling of goods and first and last mile connectivity. Why anyone would go to through the hassle of bringing their goods to the railway station, then stuffing them into the container or any other wagon, then repeating the same exercise at their destination stations. So how we can overcome these issues, these conflicts, and be a more business-friendly organization as railways. So we did certain analysis and we identified that private sidings and private freight terminals are doing very good in terms of freight handling. Out of total freight that is being handled by railways, around 70% of it is being dealt at sidings. So why sidings are performing much better when they are lesser in the numbers? We have more number of railway-owned goods sheds, but less traffic is being dealt there. And we are not using the capacity that has been already created and that is in place. So the goods handling at the sidings is very efficient. Sidings provide door-to-door connectivity to their godown or their industrial unit where the goods are generated or where the goods are required as raw materials. So railways currently under the GCT policy, they are promoting the development of private terminals, freight terminals, which may be directly connected to the industrial logistics parks. But at the same time, government may also think of having a certain policy or mandate where each and every industrial, new greenfield industrial park or logistic parks which is coming up could have a rail connectivity. This would ensure that they have an option from the day one of their working that we have the option of railways, and let us explore how fast or how easily we are able to move these goods. Similarly, when we think about the railway-owned terminals, there are 43% of the terminals which are handling more than 100 rakes per year, which is not a very good number if we compare it with the amount of traffic that sidings are handling. But more efforts could be put to this terminals, and we can see that how we can maximize the efficiency, bring down the terminal retention time and turnaround time, so that more number of goods can be handled, more number of private players and customers we can cater to. So there are certain issues which we have observed across all the stations, and where we think the private participation, the private investments could help to improvise. How many of you have actually visited any goods terminals, or everyone is more focused on the passenger segment? Okay, ma'am. So, what was your experience while visiting this freight terminals? Were they good? Did they look nice, or the roads were more like patchy, or there was very difficulty in the moving vehicles? Yeah. Yes. So, if you compare, then how would you rate our terminals? They are not. Yes. Yeah, that's a fairly a good number that we are giving. So, what our understanding was, if we are able to store more goods at the freight stations, we are able to move our vehicles easily. We are able to reduce the congestions in and around these freight terminals. More number of traffic could be handled because we have developed capacity with us. We have terminals, we have wharf, we have storage capacity. Then why should we not utilize it to the full potential and invest our resources to develop something from the scratch? So, but positively, railways have recently allocated a good budget to redevelop their railway stations, to carry out certain maintenance and repair work and improvise the infrastructure conditions at these places. I will directly jump onto the certain recommendations that we have from the studies. So, railways need to have a bit more business friendly policies, because at certain points, when we talk about the heavy capital investment under GCT policies, or uh, procurement of specialized wagons or rakes, the cost and risk sharing should be there with the railways, so that private players are more inclined towards or more confident in the system as well to go for it. And there are many private players who would like to have their own terminal or rake, but the capital investment which is required is very high, so that they are not coming in. So somewhere railways can have some sort of viability gap funding, or they can develop certain mechanism so that this bridge of capital cost could be crossed. Another one issue is the en route constraints. As Shobit sir rightly mentioned, that DFC has really increased the freight speeds to around 65 to 100 kilometer per hour, and they are providing very timely connectivity and delivery of goods. So, if every time when we talk about the regular Indian railway routes, the priority has been always given to the passenger trains, and goods trains are waiting at particular stations or in the loop lines or sidings. So, if that waiting time is decreased, then we can have a more faster, more smoother service, and this could be done by many ways, increasing the lines or providing the bypass lines, or having a particular time slot where goods trains would pass. So that can be done. Freight handling could be mechanized. It's majorly entirely dependent on manual labor when it comes to the regular stations. And but there are mechanical aids available. We have conveyor belts, we have certain ridge stackers, or we have certain dumplers. Which would maximize the efficiency and bring down the terminal retention time, which is currently at around 14 to 16 hours minimum. So, if we are reducing this time period, we would achieve a higher efficiency, lesser turnaround time, and private players would be, of course, happy to move ahead with more loading more. We can have operator and aggregator based goods handling system. So currently what our notion is that railways are the bulk carrier. Our commodity basket has been very limited or primarily focused on the key commodities like coal, iron ore, steel, raw material, cement. But the nature of market, that currently what the world that we are living in, we are heavily dependent on the e-commerce, which is small traffic, where small parcels are moving on, and railways should incorporate and devise certain policies or solutions to bring in that traffic to the railways. Currently, DFC has runs one NMG rake for this Amazon e-commerce service. Railways also had started some dedicated parcel vans from Nizamuddin station to the Bangalore. So this type of initiative should be taken up, and at the same time, we and railway also expect that these are also well received by the private players, because in the end, railways is trying to push their boundaries or change their very set system for the years to bring in more traffic. So at the same time, same cooperation from the private players is desirable. Flexibility in pricing. We are currently using the rates which are based on the supply, but railways should have the market-based rates so that they offer more competitive prices to the roadways, which would definitely be helpful to for many private players who are willing to shift to the railways, as well as the context of or the principle of maxima minima can be incorporated, where we do not have the set rate for across the country, but zones are provided with certain brackets that the rates could be between these two numbers, and based on the market situation or the interaction with the private player there, they can decide what rate they would like to offer so that they are able to fetch more traffic. Certain key messages that I would never stop on emphasizing the importance of railways for the freight decarbonization, transport decarbonization. We need certain efforts and policy reforms from the railway and from the private players as well to actually show their commitments for the low carbon or sustainable development or green supply chain, as everyone is talking about. Cost sharing mechanism, remodeling of junction stations, and railway freight terminals is certainly required. And it is actually very difficult to put on the 2 or 3 years of study in 15 minutes. Because there is so much that we would like to cover, but there are certain focus areas of research that we are looking forward to, where we are trying to focus on containers, port connectivity with railways, and steel traffic. And we are also looking into the rolling stock modifications in the wagon design to cater to a different type of traffic, which as compared to what is currently there. So if there are industry people who are connected with RDS or who are into wagon design and publishing, we would love to connect and talk over what are the possibilities of exploring new areas of research or implementation works. And the study can be accessed by the TERI website. If anyone wants, you can just come to me and I will provide you with the reports. And you can connect with us or TERI anytime if, apart from, for your if you are willing to get into the sustainability journey and want to explore that how we can decarbonize or we can go ahead with the low carbon development and sustainable development, whether it is your transport sector, whether it is your production, or your entire value management system. So yeah, I guess that's why. Thank you.